Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and in this video I'm going to talk to all those people who are literally struggling to cultivate this habit of reading books. To be honest with you guys, I myself started reading books pretty late in my life. I was doing my undergraduate program, and probably that's when I actually started reading books. I do not have tips or tricks per se to give you guys so that you can become a vivid reader in a fortnight or something like that. No, it's nothing like that. But what I'm going to do in this video is going to share my experience with you of how I slowly started cultivating that habit of reading books. When I was doing my undergraduate program, I picked up this book from my friend. It was supposed to be a small book, a coffee table book per se. Yeah. And I started reading it. I did not know who the writer was, or I did not even bother to read much about the writer, or did not even bother much about knowing the summary of the book or what the book was all about. Nothing. I just picked up the book and I started reading from page 1. Yeah. And it went on. There was a story, the language was simple, and it was an easy read for me, a comforting read for me. So I finished reading that book. That was supposed to be my first ever complete book that I have read. Yeah. And after having read that book, I kind of felt happy, and I felt that I had accomplished something. I mean, probably at that particular time, for a person who is not at all into reading books, and suddenly you pick up a book and finish reading the book, it is quite an achievement, I would say. And thus began my habit of reading books. And after that, I constantly was asking my friends and all those bookworms to suggest me a few books so that I can pick them up and read them up. I literally would ask them, please suggest some easy books so that I can read it, finish it from start to finish. Not that I have to skip a few pages or skip a few paragraphs and so on and so forth. Yeah. So there were these good friends of mine who did suggest a few books. And it doesn't mean that whenever they suggested a book and whenever I borrowed a particular book from them, it doesn't mean that I read the book completely, okay? Because at that point of time, I was still getting into that habit of reading books. So holding the book in your hand and then going through page by page, reading each and every word, that is a little difficult, yeah? Probably if you had started off as a child, maybe you wouldn't have found it that difficult. But when you become a little held with other responsibilities and you have to also cultivate this new habit, it kind of becomes a tedious job. I understand that. Yeah. So anyways, as I told you, when I used to borrow these books, it's not that I read each and every book from page 1 to page last. Yeah. There were some books that I just stopped at the first few pages. There were some books that I read completely. Yes. It was only much later that I realized what kind of books I really liked. Okay. There are different genres. There is fiction, there is non-fiction, there are simply plays, there are novels, there are classic novels, there is just poetry, and even in poetry there is modern poetry. There are these old poems that you would like to read. Yep, there are a variety of writings, but for one to cultivate that habit of reading, it is very important for you to know what sort of writing you like. May it be only plays or may it be only dramas, it is okay. Start off with it. Yeah. I personally would advise you to start with a pretty small book. It doesn't matter to which age group the book belongs to. Just pick up a book, even a children's novel. Just pick it up, start reading. This is only for you to sit in front of the book, read the book. Sitting in front of the book, reading it for quite some time, again, tests your patience. it builds the tolerance level as well, and unconsciously your vocabulary increases. Yeah, it becomes much richer, and you tend to speak better, and you tend to communicate better, and you tend to think better as well. Yeah, so that's the beauty of books. As I told you earlier, I have no tips or tricks per se. It's just that you have to just go on choosing a book in which will actually interest you, and just go with the flow. Pick up whatever you get. Pick up whatever book you get in hand. Just give it a shot. Read, and read. And as you read, you will realize what kind of writing you like. Yeah. And how each writer has a different style. Sometimes you may also start appreciating various writers for their unique style of writing, for their unique style of expressing the same concept, so to say. So, as I told you, it enriches your knowledge as well. Yeah. So there's nothing, a suggestion or advice per to say. It's just that you just have to make that first or the initial effort to pick up a book, yes, and start reading. Yes. I hope you found this video helpful, and please do subscribe to my channel. Do support me. Do give me your love, so that I can make more and more videos for you guys. Thank you. Love you all. See you.